Hello, and welcome. Take a deep breath in, and slowly let it out. Tonight, let's leave the rush of the modern world behind. You're in a quiet room, wrapped in soft blankets. The lights are dim, the night is still. And you're about to drift gently into the past. In this calm and gentle journey, we'll travel to ancient Rome. But not to its battles or politics. Tonight, we'll explore something more intimate, more human. We'll sit at the table with everyday Romans. And learn what they ate, how they dined, and why their meals mattered. This is not a story of conquest. It's a story of olives and honey, wine and cheese, kitchens and courtyards, families gathering at twilight, and simple joys shared under the Mediterranean sun. So close your eyes if you haven't already. Let your mind settle. And come with me now, to the kitchens of Rome. In the early hours of a Roman morning, the streets were still. Shadows stretched long between columns and clay-roofed homes. Inside the domus, the Roman home, you might hear the soft crackle of a fire being stirred back to life. The day began with a modest meal called the intaculum, a breakfast so small it might hardly be called a meal at all. Perhaps just a crust of bread dipped in wine, or a handful of dates, or some cheese from the night before. For the poor, it might be barley porridge, flavored with herbs or olive oil if they were lucky. Romans didn't rush breakfast. It wasn't a time of importance, but of simple necessity. Food was seen not just as sustenance, but as a reflection of balance and virtue. No spices, no feasts yet. Just the slow rise of the sun, and the scent of warm bread in the quiet corners of the city. In richer Roman homes, the kitchen, or culina, was a space of quiet industry. Servants moved gracefully between shelves of amphorae, stirring pots, slicing fruit, grinding spices with mortar and pestle. There was no chimney in most Roman kitchens. Just smoke curling upward, drifting lazily through small openings in the roof. The tools were simple but elegant. Bronze ladles, clay pots blackened by flame, wooden boards worn smooth from daily use. Meals were often prepared with great care, not just for nourishment, but to reflect the household's status. Fresh ingredients were prized. Herbs from rooftop gardens, fish from the market, still glistening with sea water. The kitchen was a hidden world, but an essential one. It was here that meals began their quiet journey, from raw grain and olive oil, to a dish meant to be savored slowly, under the flicker of lamplight. As the morning passed and the sun rose high, Romans paused their work for prandium, the midday meal. It wasn't a grand affair, just a moment of rest. Laborers might unwrap a small bundle, bread, dried fruits, olives, perhaps some cold meat or a boiled egg if they had it. For wealthier Romans, it might include leftovers from the night before, cold cuts of roasted pork, pickled vegetables, soft cheese wrapped in leaves. The meal was often eaten in silence, or in the company of friends, with conversation drifting lazily through courtyards, as cicadas hummed in the distance. To dine in Rome, even simply, was to be part of something larger, a rhythm of the day, a moment shared across the empire. But it was in the evening, as shadows lengthened and the heat gave way to breeze, that the true Roman dining experience came to life. Cena was the main meal of the day, and for the wealthy, it was a time to indulge. A proper cena unfolded slowly, beginning with gusttatio, the appetizers, perhaps sea urchins, sweetened wine, or eggs with garum, a fermented fish sauce beloved across the empire. Then came the prima mensa, the main course. Roasted boar, honey-glazed dormice, peacocks if one was especially rich. But more often, lentils, stews, and grilled fish. The Romans loved to experiment, mixing sweet with savory, vinegar with honey, spices from distant lands. Food was layered in flavor, meant to surprise, to impress. The meal ended with secunda mensa, dessert. Fresh fruit, dates stuffed with nuts, or pastries soaked in wine and sprinkled with cinnamon. The wealthy dined while reclining on couches, leaning on one elbow, speaking slowly, sipping wine poured by attentive hands. But even the poor, in their own ways, celebrated cena, a bowl of stew by firelight, a moment of rest, a shared story between friends. To understand Roman dining, we must wander through the Forum, the bustling market. Here, the hum of trade echoed beneath marble arches. Vendors sold garum by the amphora, loaves baked in communal ovens, spices from India, dates from Africa, and wine from the vineyards of Gaul. Grain was the foundation. Wheat, mostly, ground into flour, made into pools, a porridge, or baked into the crusty bread that fed the masses. Vegetables were abundant. leeks, lentils, cabbage, onions, and chickpeas. Meat was rare for the poor. More a festival treat than a daily fare. But fish, fresh, salted, or smoked, was within reach. Honey sweetened everything. And wine, always wine. Watered down, spiced, or warmed. It was the Roman drink of choice. In every bite was a trace of empire. Goods carried on ships and wagons. Flavors blended from across the known world. Dining was not only about food. It was about conversation, philosophy, poetry. Evening meals might include a recitatio, a reading of verse, or a guest performing music. Guests discussed politics, the stars, love, and ethics, all while nibbling on pine nuts or sipping the final cup of wine. For the Romans, dining was the heart of the household. It brought families together. It showed wealth, yes, but also refinement, generosity, and Romanitas. The idea of being truly Roman. Even the utensils carried meaning. Some engraved with tiny Latin phrases. Live well. Eat well. Love well. And now, dear listener, the Roman night has fallen. The fire in the kitchen is out. The last dish has been washed in cool well water. And the courtyard lies quiet. The stars above Rome twinkle gently, just as they did 2,000 years ago. Somewhere, perhaps in a quiet villa near the sea, a family sleeps with full bellies and full hearts, dreaming of honey and thyme, of olives and wine. And you, too, are ready to rest. You've dined with the Romans tonight. Not in battle or empire, but in comfort, in curiosity, and in the shared joy of a meal. So let the stillness settle. Let your thoughts grow quiet, and drift, gently, to sleep. Good night, traveler of time.